Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 182 and we have a good one for you today. Today's fish is a fish that almost everyone hears about as kids and has definitely seen pictures. You've 100% heard of this fish. This is not a fish that is that rare, unknown, unique species. Still unique, but not rare. Today's fish that we're going to be talking about is, bam, the Atlantic sailfish. Now, the Atlantic sailfish, or scientific name Istiophorus albicans, again, that's Istiophorus albicans. It is part of the family Istiophoridae, which is the family of marlin and sailfish. Now, we talked about the blue marlin long time ago, so this got requested by a friend of mine, and I was like, you know what? I can't believe I haven't done this fish before. And it is kind of surprising considering that this is one of those more common fish. Why I never thought to do it? Well, I don't know, but we're doing it today. Now, I should mention that there are some scientists that do not recognize that there is an Atlantic sailfish and an Indo-Pacific sailfish. Some scientists believe that there is only one species of sailfish, circumglobally. It's only one species. I lean quite heavily towards them being separate species. So I am going to talk about this one in particular. Now, all the interesting facts that I talk about on the Atlantic sailfish, you can definitely basically do a one-to-one and say the same things about the Indo-Pacific sailfish. But again, where are you going to find this fish? Well, this fish is found in the open oceanic waters of the Atlantic Ocean, as the name would imply. All other sailfish would be the Indian Pacific ones, and you're going to find these really more commonly in the tropical and subtropical waters. So think about the Cape to Cape, maybe a little beyond that. These aren't really cold water fish species. In fact, they are very much warm water species, staying mainly in the upper reaches of the water. A lot of times you see these fish in the wild and you see them like this. They are right on the surface of the water, and you'll even see their dorsal fin actually break the surface of the water. That's not to say that they cannot dive down. There have been tagging studies that have shown that these fish will go excessively deep. I wouldn't say excessive, but pretty far down. But I feel confident saying 75% of the time they're probably along the surface of the water, or at least in like the upper 10 meters of water. Now, this is a pelagic fish, meaning it's open ocean. You're going to find these near continental shelves and offshore lands, but they're very much an open water species. I'm betting that they're found near those continental shelves and offshore islands mainly for their food sources, not because they are associating with the habitat themselves. Almost like a byproduct of their prey is why they're found in those areas. Now, this is a large fish, reaches lengths up to 3.15 meters, which is about 10.3 feet, and weighs up to 58.1 kilograms. Which is 128 pounds. Now, I have seen a lot of stuff. You go on the internet, you see 220 pounds, 15 feet. I do believe those are exaggerated, or quite possibly the Indian Pacific sailfish might be a significantly larger species of sailfish. But in terms of the Atlantic, it really seems to be 128 pounds. I do believe that there was someone that caught a 144 pounder I saw, but I couldn't really verify that. So we're sticking around that 130. Still a very significantly sized fish. Very long, but light for its length. And a lot of that has to do with its physiology, which we'll talk about in a bit. But it has this metallic bluish back. This is one of the more duller pictures. You can see here, you got this, well, that's in shadow, but you have this bluish kind of black fading to a greenish color. This one's very green, but sort of this greenish goldish color on the side with a wider belly. But their entire body, especially when you look at freshly caught sailfish, they're very metallic looking, like they're entirely made out of metal. It's really, really interesting. Very, very silvery fish. Sometimes, not 100%, but very often, you will have this sort of barring on the sides right here. It's not 100%. You can even see the hints of some bars there. But apparently they are able to change their coloration in terms of their barring and spots. If you see here, this one has a lot of spots on its fins. So does this one. Apparently they can actually change their coloration to match their moods, like many animals and fish that we've talked about. They have this very strongly forked caudal fin, which is a pretty good indicator of speed, especially open water speed. And then they have these very large sickle-shaped pectoral fins. But what's interesting to me is actually their pelvic fins. These fins right here are fairly long and kind of thread-like, and to me they look very similar to some of the like rope fish, bikers and things like that that have these sort of walking fins that are really kind of thin and thread-like or ribbon-like. That's what this kind of reminds me of. Obviously they're not using those, so I imagine they're helping with hydrodynamics and helping them cut through the water much more efficiently. One thing they are known for, they have this really long pointed snout that is only the upper jaw, and it's actually circle and cross sections. So think of like a rapier, when you really want to sort of describe its nose, basically. And it does use this snout for hunting. I found an interesting article that I'll link down at in the description of this video that talks about the sailfish hunting and how they use it. And it's incredible because they actually will swipe their heads to try and just basically knock a fish loose from a school and maybe stun it, and then they'll grab it by, swallowing it whole. But the speed at which they do that, and please go read the article if you're interested, but the article shows that the speed in which they flick their head and hit other fish is actually so fast that no fish in the world would have, or at least sardines, have a chance to even come close to dodging this fish. And they broke it down into milliseconds and showed there's a video. It's truly bizarre. But if you've ever been around sardines, they're quite skittish and pretty quick, fish. They flit around. But apparently the fish can't even react to the snout starting its swipe before they will get hit. And what was interesting in the article is they actually make their entire body rigid, and they'll use not only the force of their muscles, but the resistance of the water on their fins to actually get up to that speed. Please go check out the article. It's really, really bizarre. But speaking of their fins, obviously the thing they're most known for is their first dorsal fin. And they do have two dorsal fins. You can see here's the second dorsal fin. But this first dorsal fin is huge, running along the length of most of the body. And it's kind of got this high scallop, high down sort of deal. And it's highest in this midsection. It's fairly common that they say the longest ray, which is the spikes and fins, the longest ray is the 20th ray, around that 20 to mid 20th ray. But this is how it's got its name. They'll break the surface of the water with this high dorsal fin. It's a really iconic fin shape. That's why I'm saying this is not a fish that is unpopular, not well known. So yeah, it's kind of impressive. We haven't talked about this fish before. This is an iconic fish. There is absolutely no denying that. And that fin is how it's got its name, obviously. Now, sailfish eat a lot of small bony fish, sardines, tunas, half-beaks, needlefish, but they do also eat cephalopods, which are going to be your octopi and squid. But I did find some other interesting fact about their fin. They will actually use, these fish are not sort of burst predators. They will actually herd the fish using their very large dorsal fin to sort of corral them in an area, using just like their size, because they're really tall in the water, and using that to sort of get the fish in a tighter school to make it easier for them to catch. Now, this fish is extremely popular among recreational anglers. Extremely popular. I don't think I need to tell you about that. I mean, people just love fishing for this. I can't blame them. I mean, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. I actually wanted to go back. I did want to include this picture because it looks like that's exactly what this fish is doing. It knocked this fish loose from this school right here and is in the process of trying to eat it. But now, for the interesting fact that we're going to end the video on, and this is a fact that is new to me. Growing up, when I heard about sailfish, everyone said sailfish, fastest fish in the world, not even close. They're capable of short sprints up to 111 kilometers per hour. Well, the reason why that is known is because of tests that were done in the 1920s. They have been clocked at speeds of 68. There is no denying that they got clocked at speeds of that. But the reason why that was done is because that speed trial was carried out in Florida, where a fishing camp would catch these and they'd read how much it took the sailfish to take out 100 yards of line. And one sailfish did it in 3 seconds. That is the equivalent of 68 miles per hour, or 111 kilometers per hour. But what's interesting is it's important to note that the fish was leaping through the air when its speed was timed. So it's actually not its true swimming speed, meaning that it was moving fast and then launched itself, allowing it to cut down on super resistance and the resistance in the water and maintain that level there. And there's no telling how much the wind clocked it, the line and everything, because it was only measured by how much line it took out. There have been a lot of research done into there, and it turns out there's more conservative estimates of 37 to 55 kilometers per hour, which is 23 to 34 miles per hour. Still very fast. That's more widely accepted that that's going to be its more high-end range. And there's actually been a lot of studies that sailfish do not even exceed swimming speeds of 36 kilometers per hour, which is 22 miles per hour. So what's interesting is generations of people have been taught sailfish swimming over 50 miles an hour so fast, and it turns out that they're less than half of what their projected speed. Still a fast fish, but significantly slower. And in that article I was talking about, it shows that it explains that this fish is not a bull rushing predator, meaning it's not just swimming straight into the pile and just using on its speed. It's actually usually swimming slower than the schooling fish itself. It's literally herding them first before it even gets any sort of speed. Its speediest part is actually when it flicks its nose to try and stun the fish. And in fact, it's so fast that it's among the fast of any body part acceleration ever recorded by any aquatic vertebrate, which is just crazy. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated regardless. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and peace.